Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of the State of SINo, where we talk about the state of SINoALICE as it stands. We've got Borcono, Tachibana, Fort Misery Gaming, you beautiful, wonderful SINoALICE content creators. It's good to have you here.
What's up, man?
Yo,
what's up?
We got it. We pretty much got it right this time. All right.
Yeah.
First question we're going to go into is, what do you guys think with the pace of events as they stand? For example, the SINo is competing for like a main game spot with the amount of time consuming it takes to farm these events efficiently.
Personally, I think it's very fast, and I know that a lot of players dislike it, which of course is controversial because you don't want a dead game, but at the same time it's difficult to pretty much keep playing SINo at the pace it is once the honeymoon phase is pretty much ended. Would you guys sort of agree with me there?
yeah, I think the gameplay or the gameplay loop is definitely one of the things that the community has the most issue with, and it just comes down to, I guess I don't know if it's necessarily the grindiness of it, which it is grindy, but it's almost like the feeling of the grinding might not be that enjoyable for some people.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not as rewarding, I think.
I think it's just the way that it's being worded. I think I just might not be wording it right, but it definitely is something about the gameplay loop just feels weird.
Yeah, it's
you get on every day at your Colo time. You do your Colo, then you grind events. You run out of SP. Maybe you Puri, maybe you don't, and then you're done for the day. So it's kind of weird because it's grindy, but it doesn't take that much time. If that makes any sense.
If you're not trying to get all of your maximum contributions, your guild contributions or whatever, take out the entire medal exchange because you don't need to. You can go into that place and get just the bits that you need. And you can go, I don't need 100 more Dragon Claws.
Yeah, I think that's actually what most players do. I don't think most players finish the entire shop and then also do the refilled shop. I think most players just do the parts.
Then you have not met me, sir.
One of the things that I really want to ask is, what do you guys think about JP's ability where they took out tickets in general and you just have the auto skip feature constantly going all the time?
That's a lot better.
I mean, here's the thing. When it comes to auto skip, it's basically this. Other games have done that before, and in SINo, even in JP, it's pretty much. It just doesn't make any sense why we even have tickets in the first place. Those are one of the quality of life I think we should not even have had, because they already had auto skip for a while now. That should have been the first thing we got.
They were looking at the Western market far too much in the future, and I'm almost like, skip tickets are nice, but I would almost want just an auto feature, because I don't like paying for the fact that after going from other games that don't have to pay for skip tickets, this feels like a kick in the teeth now. But that's besides the point.
Well, then I have a question. If there's three options, we have tickets, we have the auto repeat stage, and then you have just outright skipping, which is basically like a ticket but unlimited. Out of those three options, which do you think would suit this game better? And there's two things. Which one would you prefer, and which one do you think suits the game better? Because you might not prefer what suits the game.
Outright skipping, because the actual PvE gameplay of SINo is hella boring.
Yeah. No offense.
I can agree. At the same time, I also think that if a game has full auto skip, that might not be good for, I don't know if it's necessarily like the number perspective, but it might not be good for the game in the long run to have content that you can just skip through.
I think the other hand of that is, right now, we got into Elite on the lowest rank. I got to get my cost up a little bit to catch up with these other guys. And so I've had 3-3 on Act 2 hard going pretty much for 3 days. And I've gained 16 level. And every time you gain a level, it's like, all right, well, I'm going to add an hour onto that because that's how long it takes.
Yeah,
I've still got 55 Puri tickets.
Well, they sort of tried
those.
addressing that in JP with double EXPs. So I don't. Well, I mean, not double EXP the item, but like a day that's double EXP from Puri.
I mean,
So
even double EXP.
I'm not sure if that would fix that necessarily, but it definitely makes the leveling process a little easier.
Yeah, because like the onboarding is better, but your issue now is Bork probably knows this, or Tachi, or one of you. When do Puri tickets stop being free? When do you run out on auto now?
Is it
40?
40? Level rank 40, I think now. They've upped it. It was
20. 40.
It's not much
which
higher.
is still nothing.
Because when it started,
literally
it
nothing.
So it's only an extra 20 levels,
if
and
you
you're
have
going to
free
get level
Puri
50
to 40,
in your first, like, 2
by the
days
time
anyway.
you get to 100, if you're not grinding like 4 Puris a day, you're still looking at 4 to 5 weeks worth of catching up.
Imagine not being level 180.
Yeah. I personally would like an auto repeat feature where, you know, when you're doing that thing, it's just gonna. I don't mind so much that, you know, you have to go through the stage. I can put it down. I can, you know, go do something else whilst it's repeating.
How far do you want to take the auto repeat feature? Because I've played games where there's 2 types of auto repeat. There's the full like control auto repeat where you could choose how many times you wanted to repeat. And then there is, which would probably be a little difficult in this game because this game has high stamina cost, but stamina cap. And then there's the kind that just stop whenever your stamina runs out.
Yeah, well, the stamina runs out fast enough. The big problem is that after you've done your run of stamina, you got to go back and purify. You know, well, for me, I'm purifying right now. I got enough tickets to do it, and free-to-play players aren't going to crystal refresh. They're going to.
For sure.
That's it. They're going to do their bit. So, like, the purification is an interesting mechanic, but also, like, how about an auto purifier? I would easily take an average.
They already have those. So, in case you guys don't know, in JP, it's not exactly like that, but they have something that basically it's almost like a ticket that you use that gives you as much AP as, let's say, 50 kills in purification. It's a set amount of AP.
Cool. 50's rough.
50 is so
I think it's a 200 SP that you get, or AP, whatever it's called.
Yeah,
I think it's about 200, which is about half of what you would normally get.
I think I reach around 3 something as well. So if I could automatic, then auto puri and then keep going, like that would be fine.
Thank you. AP potions. Yeah, I think that's what they're, those thingies. It's basically an item that you use. Now, the thing about that is, I think the main benefit isn't even that it's quick and you don't have to do it, because I don't really mind doing SP. I'm basically just drawing circles. The thing that makes it good is that it stops Papegas from accidentally popping tickets and then thinking that they can game the AP system by going into purifications. Because I had a member pop ticket and then they wasted like 4 or 5 minutes of their ticket time being in SP recovery.
Oh.
Sure.
It's just like, it would solve that to some extent. Yeah. 200 AP is 67 kills. Is it really? I don't do the math, man.
It's close to that.
I don't do the math. I don't do the repeating number. 66.66. It's close enough.
But yeah, so another thing I've got an issue with is kind of like the time. So if I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is SINo, well, yeah, okay, I could be that sad, yeah. I check the daily things, you get your stuff. Check
not even taking a poop.
Yeah, check who I'm against in the Coliseum. There's a couple of things to do, yeah. And then I'm going, right, let's go spend some stamina. You go in, you're in the whatever event that I'm doing at the time, and then that's it. Like, now I'm just looking at my phone, and now I've got nothing else to do. And it's just kind of like...
True.
Honestly, underrated quality of life thing they could do is if SINo worked in the background when it was on auto.
Oh, you know what? That wouldn't be too bad. I have had occasions where I left.
Idle feature.
And I have had some occasions where I left and it timed me out of the battle because I had to answer
because it pauses completely when you take it down. Like, imagine if you had it only used the stamina you had.
Better yet, instead of just that, can we at least start out with not counting them? I come back in 20 minutes and my battle's done. I don't even get the stamina back, which, by the way, sucks. Can we at least have that as quality of life, please? There's like so many levels of it. Can I have stamina if I fail because of timeout or whatever? 2, can you stop counting timer when I alt tab? And then I guess 3 would be, can you just automatically do it in general, like while I'm doing something else, so
That's
that I don't
a
have
small
to
quality of
actively
life that they could do. They could just give that to us. Absolutely. Borg, when you started this question, you did say about being over the honeymoon phase, and I completely agree with that. Like, and
Oh, it's there.
but
There.
you have to understand, like, eventually, for anything, any game you play, any new gacha that you get, everyone does enjoy that initial period where they get a lot of stuff. And it's about
Yep.
what you kind of create with it afterwards. And like SINo it's a relationship, and you got to work at it. It's not just going to be like the best thing ever. And it's like that with any game that you spend a considerable amount of time on, I guess.
Oh yeah. I definitely see that, and I've been through a lot of gotchas in my day. And I understand it. And one of the things that SINo benefits from is the community that we've built so well together. So I really have to applaud everyone for, sticking through SINo with everything going on. Let's jump to the next topic where we're talking about the Colo scene. DST. My goodness, this thing is wrecking everything in the sense of, like, there's guilds straight up poofing, blowing up. So how do you guys feel about that?
It's certainly changed a lot of
I hate
things.
to be the guy that says it, but I definitely called it, and no one wanted to talk about it. I called it. I said this is going to. If they do not address it, they need to address it. They need to let us know what's going to happen, and it just never happened. And it came and poof.
It came.
I mean, I think they might have talked about it once, maybe, but their the line that they basically said was pretty much, it's not exactly what I meant when I said address it, but maybe I just misspoke with them. It was just something that needed to have been, it should have been a more higher priority, should I say.
A smoother
it seemed
transition.
Like they didn't care. Yeah, the transition, because it's just like DST, it's very abrupt. You just wake up one day and the next day your guild is at a different time. The first day was the worst because I had 3 members that forgot to change their alarm times, and they just did not show up day one. So it might have needed to be like slightly different, or like done something else. Maybe done it before or after, something had to have changed.
I think one of the biggest changes is the movement of the top guilds that are agglomerated more towards the center of the time slot. So time slot 1 and time slot 8 are like sort of fallen like off the map. Don't get me wrong, there's still guilds out there, and I recognize you that are still fighting in those trenches, but there's definitely a higher concentration in the 3, 4, and 5 kind of slots, where before the DST these were actually dead slots mostly, especially like what? 3.
Okay, not 4. 4 was, I think 4 was
no, 4. 4 had some good, not dead per se, but there was definitely like 8. 8 and 7. 8 had Eden. 7 had a bunch of guilds like Emil Colt, Sleepy. They had even guilds that weren't top, but still incredibly strong, like Angelus.
Yeah. Now I feel like a lot of them have all moved over to TS4. Yeah. I don't actually know if that's permanent or if you guys are just like trying to feel out what our competition is like here.
No, it's a pretty permanent.
TS4 was actually pretty competitive compared to the other ones, other than TS7, which was definitely probably the strongest one, the best time slot in terms of competitiveness.
Yeah, time slot 4 had some, but in the upper echelons, there was Sin, Peanut, and Dream. Dream boomed after the second Grand Colo, I believe. The MNC was there, and then there was a lot of fighting for like mid-tier guilds for sure.
Oh yeah,
but that's the thing. Like there was a good kind of competition scene for all mid-tier guilds across all slots. I think it was just kind of like in the the top 10 time slot, top 10 guilds, there was definitely a higher concentration towards the ends, and now those ends have come into where like time slot 4 is now, and there is a huge competition there since the DST changes.
Yeah, DST definitely increased the competition everywhere. And I have to say, like, I don't know if it's good or bad, but I think it's unavoidable and it should have been handled better, as Tachi was saying. From a developer's perspective, they should have definitely given out, because I don't think it occurred in JP, because I don't think JP does
Japan
DST.
DST. Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah. So it for them, they probably didn't think about it whatsoever. But as soon as it did happen, I think one of the key things that could have helped mitigate it was to possibly, and this is probably unable, like they cannot do it, was possibly keep the servers in a space that doesn't get affected by DST. But it just didn't make sense because obviously the timing and everything.
When it comes to accommodating one hand or the other, I have to say that from a developer perspective, while you think it might be easier to accommodate those that don't, I would like to remind you guys that this is the global server, and most people who play this game do get affected by DST. So even though you think it would make sense to not accommodate for DST, reminder, at least a very high percentage of the people playing the game at the moment are from Europe and the US, both of which have DST. And even most of Canada actually as well, and all of South America except for like one country. So unless you think the majority of the players are from Asia, which they're not, at least not on our server, it will make more sense to accommodate for the actual people playing the game. And just my personal opinion. I'm not sure how DST works in Asia. I know you heard some states in the US don't have DST. I think it's some cities don't have DST.
How can you accommodate that?
There's a chunk of the country that doesn't. It's in the western part.
Pretty interesting that I found out. Did you guys actually see a rise in players during the Halloween event? They were doing some crazy advertisement for SINo. And I actually saw like a spike in numbers, right?
Funny story. My sister actually saw like 7 ads for SINoALICE, and she does not play games at all. No game, nothing. So
I thought that was crazy.
Interesting thing though, I don't know if you guys know this. When you set out an advertising campaign, you can select the interest groups.
Yep.
So they had to have manually selected a group of people that probably has no interest in this game for their advertising campaign, or they just selected all, which is
I think they did that.
My god.
Normally I expect like the typical stuff, like if you're going to set out an advertisement campaign for an anime based gacha, you would typically set it out to people that watch anime. Makes sense?
Yeah.
But it seems that was not the case.
No, but I think it's really interesting that their department tried to go that route during the Halloween time. All these random YouTubers, all these random ads out of nowhere, just SINoALICE popping out. So I feel like they are sort of aware that DST and like really affected them greatly. So all of a sudden they had a huge ad campaign for Active Reality, all this new content, everything dropping, right?
It wasn't just that though, that they were trying. There was a whole thing to try and bring back older players, get returning players as well. So it was just a try for a big boost for the community, and a Halloween event like that with let's be honest, that step up was amazing. It was insane.
It was.
Insane, I hate to be that guy, but can we have this 3-step army join the chat?
No.
Anyone?
We're not doing this again.
3-step army, please.
We're not doing this again.
Look, guys. Look, I know they stopped doing it in JP. Can we please have 3 steps again?
Yeah, we
had to yell at all of you the last time we had this argument.
But we are getting 3 steps though. We are getting at least 1 3-step.
Toxic Bana, that's right.
No.
Come on, guys. You would rather have a 3-step guarantee than a 5-step. I mean, look, I'm not saying that they should actually do it. I'm not forcing them to do it, but I do think it would be nice.
Right. So this is the thing that I noticed the most. Okay, hear me out. So our 5-step banners are 300 gems each. Yeah.
Some of them are 150 for the first.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not all of them.
So there's 1,200 altogether. Yeah.
Yes.
The 3-step banner that we are getting, which is the snow one, because they confirmed that we're getting a 3-step snow banner, which are 500 crystals each. So that's 1,500 crystals for a 3-step. I'm like, that's not stonks.
There's
really?
like 12 different types Yes, it's 500 for a guaranteed SR. That's why. But there's actually like 12 different types of banners. I don't know if you guys know that. Like, there's legit like a bunch of different types. There's in terms of the 3 steps, there's the 3 steps where there's 300. There's the 3 steps where they're 500. In terms of 5-step, there's the 5 steps where they're all 300. There's the 5-step where there's 2 that are 150 at the start. There's just a normal non-guaranteed normal banner with no step-ups. There's a normal banner that has no step-ups, but it does have a guaranteed SR for 500. It's just there's too many different types of banners.
Yes.
I think what it comes down to is that it's being advertised incorrectly then. And I hope people don't see it as a negative thing. But I am excited that they did decide to do, that whole grand election event and give us a 3-step banner. I just hope people don't get misguided, such as I, which I already am.
Oh, did you accidentally put out a video with the wrong?
I didn't. Of course not. No, okay, I don't put anything where it's like speculation unless like I have serious hard confirmation.
Meanwhile, I'm looking at me and I put out 3 videos about Snow White coming soon. Snow White.
No, I actually saw that video, but to be fair, no, I don't blame you because I thought that was coming soon as well. If you looked on the kind of the banners that were coming out, it's the weirdest
thing because I thought they were skipping her all this time because they didn't want us to get Ogre, but then they just released an Ogre replacement.
Yeah,
that whole thing was fucking weird.
So then, what is the reason to skip?
The funny
They're just trying to spite Tachi.
I saw Tachi's video with the Snow White Paladin, and then I saw a Bork stream, I think it was, where someone asking for your speculation, and you called it right for I think it was the Pinocchio, because of the tin metal event.
They had skipped Pinocchio with the mechanical spear.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where Pocolabo doesn't want to be predictable, and I think they really do watch our stuff. As a small community as we are, I think they are aware of the things that we say, and they really will try at their days. Yeah, they will try to make sure that our predictions are wrong. No offense.
If you know that they're watching us, do you think they were actually going to release? Like, if we made a collective effort to vote for someone other than Snow White, probably Red Riding Hood would have been the best idea.
Wait, you act like I didn't already.
I did vote for it.
Okay, all right. I was not invited because you guys know I'm part of the Snow White cult. But here's the thing. What if we did that? Do you think they would have actually released a new Grand Prix costume just for us? Because obviously now that we picked Snow White, we are just going to get the Grand Prix Snow White one that JP got, which is the flag bearer one.
Right. Here's the thing about the Snow White, okay? They found ballots after they were supposed to be posted. They found that's what it was. 100% Snow White, none for Red Riding Hood. Where did they come from?
Any vote counters to observe? No one was observing the vote counting, so it was clearly rigged.
Yes, that's it. Voter fraud in the grand election. Okay.
We have politics in SINoALICE. Who is the waifu that is our presidential election?
Why is that even a question? She will seek out justice appropriately. She is the perfect president.
That's the whole
people want chaos. They want red.
All right, let's go into the other thing, and probably something that we've been thinking about due to the what they put out in the what's it called, the interview or whatever, but Project Fusion, right? Pretty much the servers combining, like with DST, it's already shifted the arena meta sort of. With us combining with Asia. What do you guys think about that? And do you think it's really realistic for us to be there by January? Like, I thought that was nuts.
I think it's doable. I think they already had it. Doable. They already had the server infrastructure in place, so it's not a problem. I think the bigger concern I would have is I don't think that our current time slots accommodate Asia at all.
No, they would.
Which is the entire reason why Asian players aren't playing on global to begin with. Otherwise,
the biggest issue that we ran into, and me and Zant talked about this way back in the day when I first started covering it, was that 8 time slots between 2 regions is just too much. It's too wide. There's too much variance. So if any like cut and split ever has to happen, like it's going to throw things for a massive loop because the Asian time server is almost 12 hours difference from us.
Yeah, but at the same time, right? They can't cut the amount. You mean the numbers, right? The number of time slots?
No, so well, technically they're cutting down from 16 total, so technically they are cutting.
I mean, like ours, because you could just pretend.
No, I think they said they were increasing time slots, so I don't know.
Yes,
I don't know how they're going to adjust that. It's going to go to 12.
The thing about
maybe?
Increasing or even decreasing is that both options have negative side effects, right?
Well, I mean, there's almost nobody in the Asian servers right now. So.
Yeah, they have to, but they have to, like our servers wise. Like if they increase from 8 to 10 or 8 to 12, that's going to make certain time slots dead, which is just bringing the Asia problem over to our server. The problem that certain time slots are just they don't have enough people to facilitate GC, right? But if they decrease it, then they're gonna have the problem where certain people just cannot make Colo because there's not enough.
I think you're underestimating the amount of kind of guilds that aren't vocal in the community. Like there's a lot of guilds that just exist in SINoALICE that we just don't know about. Just a lot of unknown, unnamed guilds. And Asia will bring over the guilds that are known, but there's also going to be a ton of other guilds to kind of fill out, and a ton of players, I guess, to fill out the slots. And I don't think they're going to do all 16. I feel like 12 would be a reasonable number, so add them 4. So they're condensing that kind of Asia amount to begin with, and then adding it onto ours, and then people can kind of split off and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you don't think that there's a possibility of certain time slots just not have? Remember, you do need a certain amount of players in a time slot to facilitate a GC, because GC is obviously it's split up into 3 brackets, the 3 different tiers, and then obviously it's split off by time slots. So you need a certain amount of people in a certain time slot and in a certain tier of players. Otherwise, you can't even run GC, because those players. Because of the way GC works, you can't have matches that rerun the same opponent. You have to have unique guilds. Yeah. So if you don't have enough players, you just can't run GC.
Well, the way I see it is that we in our server have enough guilds to run our GCs. We didn't have any problems. Asia did have the problems. So if you squish their time slots by half, then their players alone will be enough to fill up their time slots. So unless the Asia come over and they just don't want to go into the time slots that are there, then I don't think that we won't have enough players. I think it's something that the developers probably considered about the amount of active players that they've got.
Yeah, the only thing I can see is that I think a surprising amount of our guilds that we have now will actually move over to a better time slot. For example, you already know TS4 is 2 hours away, up or down, regardless. If they were to add a time slot above the current one right now, so for me, Guild War is at 6. If they were to have one at either 5 or at 7, I would have probably moved Choten to that. Now, that if I move, that is one less guild in TS4. I think that is something that will probably happen. It's not just the Asia guilds that will join the new time slots. Some of the guilds in other time slots will be moving to the new time slots. That's just bound to happen. You can't lock our guilds from doing so.
So in JP as well, there's a time slot that's banned from GC because of the issue with not enough players, it seems. So I suppose if there is just a time slot that just can't cut it, I guess they'll just be like, you're not doing GC in this time slot. You're just going to have to do GC in this time slot. If that's something that happens in JP.
When you say they're banned, right? That is obviously because they can't, not enough players. Do they just move, or do they get the free rewards like how Asia did?
They just move.
Yeah, I think when the issue is known from the beginning, then they go, right, this is what's going to happen if you're going to take part in this GC.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that being an option.
Unless when you register for GC, you have to pick a time slot. So if that time slot is just not there to pick, then
then you would have no choice but to move. That would make sense. That would make
What's
sense.
also interesting with like the combination of all the servers too will be technically more time slots for like EXP events, Conquest events, and everything occurring, which I know not everyone really participates in, but it's another side of SINoALICE that technically shines that no other gacha can currently accomplish properly, But that's also one of SINoALICE's weaknesses, is because you have to play at a certain time, like we're all talking about right now. That is both its greatest strength and both greatest weakness. And I think like one of the biggest things that's gonna just make Colo much better is to have more proper competitive behavior. Because as soon as I move to time slot 7, which is where I'm at now, I am feeling the heat. Like, I'm pretty sure y'all in time slot 4 are seriously feeling like, holy crap, I feel like this game changed, right? Like, it doesn't feel the same as it used to be.
I feel like the competition has increased in every aspect.
TS4 has been assed out since day one. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
No, dude, look, I will gladly fight against Sin and Peanut any day in comparison to fighting against some of these guilds that just joined TS4. Like, we fought against Flame. They stripped their guild to our level, not just armor, like weapons. They lowered themselves down to be a more even fight.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun, but at the same time, it's a little humiliating.
Oh, we just got 3 million by Davari yesterday.
It's like fighting against someone in like a sport that you play, and they look down on you so much they actually chopped off a leg and an arm just to fight against you.
So like I'll apologize to Arya and Athena before this. So like me and Fort just moved to Tsukiyomi, or Remnant, which is the new guild. Zengang is dead. Long live Zengang. F in the chats from everybody. DST murdered us, but we had problems anyway, so no worries there. So we went up against Davari yesterday, and this is Davari after they absorbed Bits of Sin and a couple of other guilds, so like they are significantly larger than they were. And like, I mean, everybody knows
they did just lose Shade.
Yes, they did lose Shade, but that does not seem to have slowed them down at
all.
No,
Davari is still incredibly strong.
Yeah, they still pounded us for about 3 million. So
that just proves that your guild put up a good fight, though. You had a lot of life force to offer. You got to think of it that way.
I don't know if that makes me feel better.
It should. I think how much life force you can offer again. Like, if you're gonna lose with style.
So from now on, guys, if you ever get into a battle with over 3 million overall life force, that means you did a good job.
You're a good guild, okay?
I don't let anyone look down on you. You're a great person.
Well, the thing is like most guilds that get farmed, quote unquote,
it's not even close. It's like 10K on that guild and like 2 mil on the other one.
It's just really not high. In order to achieve those numbers, you seriously have to be like not wailing, that's the wrong term, but like your clerics are healing, you're trying your damnedest to do
up a fight for them to get above 3 mil.
Oh yeah. And it shows character.
It was just rough.
It shows character. Yeah. You did just fine.
and Fort's a little quieter than normal because he's on his phone, so I don't know if he's swapping back and forth or not. But I know he's
no, literally, because I never get a chance to jump in.
Oh, you can jump in right now.
Like, I feel like you guys are all talking over each other so much that like I'm just gonna sit here until I have an opportunity. So
now's your opportunity.
Here it is.
Do it.
Talk about Project Fusion. You got the show.
I can hear what one person said.
Project Fusion. What are your thoughts on it?
So I think it's a good thing. I like what Demi said of if they are going to go into time slots where it's not going to be enough people, like for GC's sake, that they just moved into a time slot where they do have enough people instead of just obviously not really playing and just getting first place. So I think it's overall great for the game because we've seen so many top guilds disband, and obviously the player base has shrunk significantly since launch overall. So I think that's a great thing that we're able to do that, and I just think they need to add time slots. Like, for us, there's no time slots in the morning, and so people in Asia need to be playing at our time, like 10 a.m. EST, then that's what they should do to accommodate those players.
I have a question. Are you driving and podcasting?
Yes.
I'm proud of you. That's what it's like in America, Demic.
Yeah, is that what they do?
And in the rain.
And the rain.
Oh, you just got hit by that storm? That sucks.
I want to make a big point on Project Fusion about, I am super excited, okay? I have built kind of like my stream and my Discord around kind of bringing the community together as best as I can. And bringing Asia guilds in just has a chance to increase that. And I'm in a lot of contact with a lot of guilds in general to help with the showcases that I do with the Coliseum matches, and I want to start getting in contact with the Asia guilds, and when they come over, it's going to be like a smoother transition, so everyone's kind of talking, people can start getting to know each other, and meeting a lot of brand new personalities and just bringing a stronger sense of community.
So what you're saying is there's going to be new people calling me Toxic Fauna now.
Yeah. Well, they'll be doing it in like Asian languages.
Okay.
Sure. But English, one of like the biggest things though with SINo is that like the community is so close knit, and I really don't see that in many other gachas, especially newer gachas that just released. And it really goes back to like what would happen if SINo released earlier, because we all know SINo was released like technically 2 years back. But because we have this strong community, because we have the capability to talk to Asia servers, the fact that we can talk to other guilds and talk about time slots, the fact that we're even here right now doing this, because most gacha games don't even have this. For technically SINo, and by some standards, is a small game. So I have to say, like, they're doing stuff right in the sense of they're pushing the community closer and closer to the broader goal of like, hey, this is what SINo is good at, and this is where it's going to shine at, right?
I do think part of it is to the game, but at the same time, I do want to applaud the community itself. I think a lot of or most of the work is actually just down to us as a community members doing that. Yes. I know that the game has helped facilitate it to some extent, but I do think that we as a community have done a really good job of making a place where just all of us can just chill. I even see pretty much every single SINo Discord, we just like chill and like play other games like Among Us or whatever, just together. Just why not?
Absolutely. A lot of people have just made friends and connections with people from guilds. They go to other guilds together, they go to other games together, and even if it's not SINo, even if it's another gacha, people playing Genshin Impact together from guilds that they joined from SINo. Like,
yes.
And
they welled together and then cried that they didn't get Venti all together.
All at the same.
Let's roll into our next topic then, since you guys brought it up. So what is the storm of Genshin? How do you guys feel about like this monstrous game? And in some ways it doesn't just affect SINo. It could affect all gachas in general. What do you think? Is it like a standard that's set? Like, how do we feel as a community with SINo and Genshin just coming over?
Genshin has set a standard in itself.
It set an insane AAA standard for development.
True,
I don't think many other gachas will come to that level of production, period. Like, I just don't think it's going to happen. Like, most of the time you're playing a Farmville game, or like, look at Dokkan Battle. It's still one of the highest grossing games ever, and it's a fucking Facebook game.
It is
Dragon seriously. Ball art
in the US. In the US, most of the most popular and most grossing games are not gacha games. But on the topic of Genshin, honestly, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah,
I did see that with all games in general saw a bit of a drop off when Genshin came out, but I think that is probably going to end soon.
Yeah.
Well, the 90-day for Genshin does not look good.
I think Genshin is not going to have a good second month compared to their first month. It will still be good, but it will not be anywhere near the explosiveness of the first month.
I think it'll turn into like a normal gacha game. You know what I mean, guys? Where it's like
it'll level off just like every other game. It won't. It won't just like explode into like
still no
brand
content.
New. Like I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think people will start coming back to their main games.
But how do you come back to taking a break off of SINo? Like the week to week.
It's not that hard.
That's a good topic.
It's honestly, but that comes down to quality of life.
You missed banners. You missed stuff.
Did we not talk about that yet?
Make it up.
No, we talked about quality of life, and we talked about.
I guess this is part of it as well. Coming back to the game, I don't think there's enough quality of life to catch you back up once you stop playing for like a month.
Oh, that's completely true. That is very
Fort
true.
Actually was talking about this earlier.
There you go, Fort.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good commentary. I like it.
So wait, let's cover a few things that they have added to the game. So they have added the tutorial system, which
the free gear.
Yeah, right? The free gear. That's a big deal. That is insane, right? Another thing that they should technically add, which I saw in JP, is, for example, the weapon packages, right? Like, for example, the crystal ones specifically, where it's like 300 crystals will net you like, 5 SSR or 5 SR gear for these kind of weapons and these sort of summons. Because when
it's too early for that.
Oh yeah, no, it's too early for that big one. But I'm just saying, like, giving like people just some sort of like weapon package outside of like the current one we just have, which is like the spear one and this like the support ones. I think there needs to be more things like that to help players get into SINo, because it's not a game where you can easily farm like weapons, easily acquire things. You know what I mean? It's very difficult to, let's say, raise a weapon. You don't just pull a weapon and you're like, oh yeah, I'm God tier, right? You don't. It's not one of those games, right?
Yeah, actually, on that topic, I do actually think that it's actually not. It's not that hard, but it's bad at the beginning.
Yes.
I think SINo is one of those games where, as you progress through the game, it's not yet, but we're getting close to it. The top end players will just have resources like ready to go. I'm already at the point almost where I'm pretty much just have everything, like just ready for the next weapon. I have enough shackles. I have enough EXP. I have enough of the materials that you need to Evo. So the only thing I'm really missing is EXP. And even that is honestly just because I don't have inventory space for it.
Yeah.
So, but once we get that whole inventory thing where, all the EXP stacks, I think I'll be fine,
we
actually.
We got a whole bunch of inventory space from...
It's not enough. It's not enough. Literally the day they increased it, I maxed out my inventory in like 10 minutes. It's not enough.
You're obviously just holding on to too much stuff. I dropped a double EXP pot. Not a double EXP. I dropped a double drop pot, and I farmed EXP, and I was already at max in like 10 minutes. I just keep holding my pots until
because they don't stack. They still don't stack.
I know that
you run out too fast.
That's why I just wait till I need it. I'll drop a 10-minute pot, and then I'll just.
I needed the EXP, but the problem is that I still just ran out of space. Like I would like that not to happen at all.
Yeah.
Once we have that, it doesn't. So, but I don't know when that's coming.
I feel they need to take like a lot of other games' opinions on like how they develop the game and not have inventory cap at all.
That doesn't
limited inventory.
I wish, but I fully expect JP Games to never do that ever. I have never seen a JP game take advice from any other game. Chinese JP, nothing. The only cues that they take is graphics. That's it, and maybe gameplay mechanics. They'll steal those, but I've never seen them take quality of life ever.
I think.
Sorry,
I see a lot of game companies use quality of life that they've seen from other games and implement that in their development.
Chinese games. I've seen a lot of Chinese games taking quality of life from other games, but I've never seen it from a JP perspective.
Even War of the Visions and Epic 7, they took quality of life from other games.
War of the Visions, that's a good one.
They
do have auto repeat.
Auto repeat was a big thing, and like there's a lot of like War of the Visions has no inventory cap. Epic 7 has no inventory cap.
They have a cap of something. I can't remember what it is. I haven't played War of the Visions since the first month. I feel like they have a cap on something. I just don't remember what it was.
Nothing.
One quality of life that I desperately want right now is, seriously, I can transfer my device from
they addressed
PC
that.
to phone.
They said they were working on it 4 months ago.
They said they weren't.
Did they really?
No.
Wait,
What they said.
The first thing they said.
No, what they said was, we understand that is a problem, but
we'll look into it.
We're not gonna change that. You have to move your data
transfer.
Are you
sure?
Yeah, no. They said
They said they were going to.
No, they said they were going to make it easier to transfer your data, but they're never. They said they were not going to implement it where you can just play it on different devices. They just said they were going to make transferring it easier.
I don't even need them to make it so that you can literally just log into the other device instant, no download, nothing. But like how basically every other game is. But I would like it so that I don't have to delete the goddamn game every single time.
You can just clear.
It's not due to the coding. It's not due to the coding at all.
No.
It's just a game. It's just laziness.
It's there
because in JP, no one plays this on emulator. It doesn't exist. Maybe a handful of people when they want to put up a video on YouTube, but pretty much everyone plays this game on mobile and they just stay on mobile. It's just one device. So they just designed the game around that aspect. which is weird because other JP games don't have this problem. It's just SINoALICE.
Yeah, that's I don't know.
I don't know why.
Well, Demi, I was gonna say that was one of the main reasons Tectone quit SINoALICE super early in its life.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was one of the biggest things that Tectone did bring up. Like, he didn't feel like this game was gonna be good for the fact of it, like, completely encompassing a community in the sense of like, hey, you know, you need to be able to be more modern than this.
Yes.
And I think one of the things that SINo captured greatly, and we keep talking about this, is really their Coliseum system. It is so unique. It is one of a kind, and it's going to keep the game quite a while, like, you know, chucking for quite a while. And the quality of life will definitely help SINo people stay and play the game. But I think one of the things that they really need to add is some sort of thing to help players get into the game far easier. Because there's a lot of mechanics, like, for example, what does Dauntless Courage 2 actually do? What does a Colo skill do? What does a story skill do? There's a lot of confusing stuff.
I thought that was in the help thingy.
No, it's in the help thingy, but a lot of people don't read that because, you know, we don't read as like gaming people in general.
Dude, that's why that's a meme in the SINo stuff.
They probably don't do it because
read.
Us as the community have like brought out all of the information you need, and it's found like scattered amongst all the discords and stuff like that. Like the information's out there if you look for it, but like,
yeah,
they're not.
I mean, but is there really anything they can even do? Like, because it two-handed wise, like, yes, people don't read, so maybe you can make a tutorial, but people hate tutorials. So what do you even do?
Yeah, people do hate tutorials. I think one of the things that you can do, technically speaking, is just outside of like, I love crystals and everything, but I would love for them to give free like SR gear to help players, because I'm going back into this topic, to roll into a position. For example, I can be a cleric main all of a sudden, or I can be a sorc main, or maybe I can try out these classes in particular so that I know how it works. Do I really want to be a sorc, for example?
Well,
do
what
I really
about this, for example? What if they release a selectable banner for beginners, new accounts,
okay,
where it is a guaranteed SR of a specific type of weapon up until a certain amount, let's say 5 pulls. So you can say, okay, I want to be a cleric main. I pick cleric, and then I can pull 5 cleric SR weapons. You can make it a selected pool. You can make it the entire pool. It doesn't matter. But just something on top of the packages that are already in the game. Because I don't see them adding the way that JP does it, all the packs, the huge packs where you get like, I think it's like 10, 15, 20. I don't know. It's a lot of weapons. And they're not those garbage ones that we get from the tutorial either. They're actually really good.
Yeah.
Well, not obviously they're not up to standard to the top JP weapons, but it's good enough for you to roll into something.
Oh yeah, I think that would be a good concept.
What I want to say is talking about how when they added the tutorial and stuff like that, like I think the timing of it was really well. They had this whole comeback campaign. It was during like Halloween, during a good step up. There was the Halloween event was really nice, really good story. A lot of great things happening for new and returning players, as well as it. I don't know if this was like on purpose or just coincidental, but it happened like just after the Genshin like blow up. Yeah, so Genshin got really big. You know, the players that we were gonna lose, we lost, but it wasn't. I don't think it was devastating. And then it died down a bit, and then they were like, right, now come back.
Oh no, it's just sort of like a reactionary thing that devs do. I feel like it's too late to apologize, sort of deal. I feel like that's just happened
to apologize. Anyways,
yeah.
I'm gonna go copyright for that one. Luckily it was off key, but do you think there's anything they can even do? Like we kind of got off topic, sort of on the same topic.
Yeah.
Do you think there's anything that they can do for players coming back? Because most of what we have discussed thus far is to help brand new players come in.
Yeah.
They did that. They had the whole like bunch of S swords, didn't they?
I think it was like 4 S swords or something like that. EXP. It's nothing. You're not going to do anything with that.
Well, let's go back to basics, because why do you play a gacha? So you can gamble and roll your gems and pull.
Wait. You guys are doing it for pulling? I'm doing it for waifus.
Oh, that too. Of course for waifus, right?
Go on. Sorry.
No. You can go.
I was going to say,
That's fine.
It's so much like what can they do for returning players that they wouldn't have to then also do for existing players? Because you can't go, oh, here's a bunch of stuff for coming back, and people who are already here get nothing, and we're like, wait, hold on. So what can they do for just returning players that wouldn't necessarily have to do with existing players? Because something like that something to really entice them back in.
Well, typically, I don't think SINo does this, but typically in other games, they have something like that pops up if you're a returning player. So you already have an account that gives you freebies, and you have to log in daily for, I don't know, 5 days, 7 days, and you get all the freebies. I don't think I haven't actually gone AFK for an extended period of time, so I don't know, but I don't think SINo has something like that yet.
Or
I don't even think JP does, but I'm not sure.
They posted it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say for the players that like miss banners, miss content, things like that, maybe they could do something like half price banners or like a guarantee.
That's a good idea.
Of a weapon on a banner. Like say you missed the Pinocchio minstrel banner and you wanted mechanical spear and you're a DPS, like maybe like in 5 polls or 3 polls you guarantee you get mechanical spear, something like that.
They sort of kind of have that sort of, and that's mostly just coming down to the return banners that they have. Where the weapons show up on the banner. Basically like the spec banners. The spec banner that comes and it'll have weapons that you previously missed on another banner.
If you're not playing on a regular basis, playing GC, you're going to be at a disadvantage to try to get them.
That is the problem as well, is that a lot of our crystal, about half, I'd say right now, about half of our crystal gain is purely from GC. And that's actually, it's probably even more for lower ranked players. Because you probably don't even play that often to get like all the rewards from every single conquest, the conquest calendar, all of the diamonds and crystals from events, from all the way through story, all of that. So you probably get like a solid 1,000 or something from GC.
Oh yeah, but I think
my mistake. Like, half of my in-game crystals, not ones that you buy. I don't count those.
Yeah. I think social campaigns are a huge part of gems, but I think you guys bring up a great point where pretty much returning banners are really important to a game. Like I see that in a lot of different games where it's return crystals, return banners, here's some catch-up events, here's a specific place that you can train, you get double EXP or whatever so you can catch up. I think one of the biggest things that's going to be a deciding factor in GC is like which vanguards are going to be like account rank 180. So something to help players jump back into the Colo scene is probably the best way. And of course, that's going to be power, right? So you can compete in Colo, so you can find a guild again, so you can, go on Discord and have conversations like this, right? Because that's what makes SINo awesome.
Yeah, that's the thing. You've got to be able to give them power to play, but not so much that the players who have been playing are like, that's a bit unfair.
I have actually played one game where it actually made mathematical sense to AFK for a week to get the returning banner than to just play. That has happened before, and I don't think that's a great idea.
No.
You don't want to incentivize players to AFK in your game. But
no.
I have seen 2 comments right now that I actually want to know what you guys feel about is why would we want to reward people that aren't playing?
No, it's not that we want to reward people not playing. I think it's just to have an incentive. Yeah, to come back, because the incentive rewards right now are relatively weak. And a lot of people who are playing SINo, they are most likely returning players because SINo was huge when it came out, right? Like Tectone was getting like 1,000 viewers or something crazy like that when SINo released. So there's actually a lot of players who are returning in SINo. And there's not that many who are, joining.
I think I want to, tag on to that and about not kind of rewarding players for not being here, but when something happens that causes a drop-off, for example, like Genshin, when, when you leave SINo for a little bit, there is a kind of an anxiety to come back, like something daunting, like, I'm behind now, and there's no way I can be where I was because I went and played another game for a week or a month or whatever. So being able to have that kind of comfort, being like, it's okay to come back, everything's going to be fine, and just really encourage them to go, yeah, no, that's fine, we can do this and join this community again.
Well,
one thing I want to segue a little bit into. I just want to. Oh, okay, sorry. That one thing that from playing Illusion Connect of what I really love about the game is that you get content based on the age of your account of the days you've put in, not where the rest of the people are. And they haven't made the PvP rewards so godly that it's like, well, if I take 3 weeks off and come back, I'm not really left behind because I'm still doing the same PvE stuff that a guy that's on day 16 is doing.
Yeah, no, I mean that is true. There are a couple things that still kind of suck with that system as well. That obviously would still be a problem in SINo is that the account age wise, that is actually really good, but it only addresses the problem of new players. Because if it's based on account age as opposed to logins, you will still miss banners, right? So if you stop playing for a month,
SINo, because of their Guild Wars system, there's no way they could do that. But it's just an idea of a way to catch people up somehow.
Yeah, I would like to have. I mean, they sort of kind of with the reruns of jobs that are, I think, basically always guaranteed and stuff like that. But we don't have that stuff yet. Is the problem, guys? So we don't have a lot of those types of banners that would help facilitate with the problems that the game has now. We don't have a recycle banner, which would be lovely right now. We don't have the rerun banners at all, any of them. We don't have rerun banners, period. Not job ones, not weapon ones, nothing. All we have right now is normal banners and spec banners. That's it. So maybe eventually we'll get that, but we just don't have that yet.